Hey guys, Al Escobedo here with CrossbowExpert.com. It is the spring of 2024. It's one of my favorite times of year. I am a turkey hunter to my soul. I love turkey hunting. It's that time of year. This video is just kind of a quick little basis on some pointers and tips to hopefully help you guys have a little bit more successful turkey season this spring with your crossbow or regular archery equipment. We already have some videos out there discussing broadheads, but this one's going to be more about the basics of getting started turkey hunting, especially for those guys that are new to it or don't have a whole lot of experience or haven't experienced a whole lot of success in the past. And my number one tip that I'm going to start off with, it's the most obvious tip, is to hunt where the turkeys are and where they want to be. So basically what I mean by that is you're going to spend way more time scouting than you're going to do in the field. Perfect example is if my tags started tomorrow and I didn't feel confident I had a property where I knew there were at least turkeys living, I would skip the first day of my hunting tag to go drive around and try and find some turkeys that I can hunt that live on the property where I can hunt. So that's number one. Spend some time in the vehicles, driving around, trail cameras, walking your fields, looking for tracks, looking for strut marks. There's a lot of different indications to the turkeys being there. And the big thing is if you're seeing fresh sign or you're seeing sign at all, at least you know they're living there. The other thing you can do, and one of my favorite things to do, like I said, if my season started tomorrow, I would have got up a couple hours before sunrise this morning. I would have drove out towards my property, got out of the truck, and just started listening for gobbles. If you can locate some of the normal roosting areas and some of the normal fields or feeding areas or strut zones, that's going to eliminate a lot of the time sitting in the blind waiting and calling, hoping one just comes in. If you can get in between where they want to be or get to where they want to be, it's going to increase your success rate significantly. And you're going to do that, like I said, driving around, trail cameras, and then just boots on the ground looking for fresh sign, whether it's the tracks, scratch marks, drag marks from the strut marks, all sorts of things like that. That's just kind of just getting you started on the scouting aspect. Now I want to talk a little bit about setup. Is when it comes to blind setup, there's a lot of different options you can have. One of my favorite things to do is to set up in the middle of the field. If you're scouting birds and you're seeing them in the middle of a 200-acre field, they're out there because they feel extremely comfortable. They can see any sort of creatures coming from any direction, a long ways coming, give them time to react and get out of there safely. That's why a lot of times you see them more in the middle of the fields and not so much on the edges. But with turkey hunting, a lot of us are deer hunters, so we're used to popping up our ground blinds on the edge of the woods, really brushing them in. But I can tell you from my personal experience, you don't necessarily have to do that. Turkeys just do not seem to care. I don't know how many turkeys I've personally killed where I've roosted a bird and went and set up in the dead middle of the field and killed them the next morning with no issues, never spooked. They just don't seem to react to the blinds like deer do. So don't be afraid to set up those blinds in the wide open areas. But then that's just going to take us back to your MRI, your most recent information, the scouting and the time that you put in getting ready for season. You just want to set up your blind as close to where they want to be or in between where they're going to be feeding, strutting, and where they're sleeping. So there's a lot of different options, and it's going to depend on the parcel of land that you're hunting. Some of us aren't going to have birds roosting on our property. Maybe they're roosting on the neighbors and they're feeding on our other neighbors. We just got to try and figure out where to get between them, and that's where your woodsmanship, trail cameras, checking for tracks, all those sorts of things are going to come in. You're going to really just focus on locating the turkeys. A lot of guys think that calling and being the best caller in the woods is number one because turkeys respond and they go and they like to come right into those calls. But one of the untold secrets that, you know, when you're watching a lot of these videos, a lot of these guys, including myself, you know, I'm not the greatest caller in the world, but if I can get to where the birds want to be and they're very, very comfortable, they seem a lot more apt to respond to my calling and actually come in. So I've had a lot of success with that. But the number one thing is finding the birds, locating them, and getting in between them. If you guys have any questions as you're kind of getting started or getting set up for your turkey season this year, feel free to reach out. It's Al with CrossbowExpert.com, and good luck out there in the turkey woods.